Thank you for joining us on a Wednesday afternoon. And Patrick DuChene has joined us all the way from New Jersey at the DynaSCAPE office today. He's been visiting since Monday. We've been getting a lot of work done and doing some collaboration on some projects. So thanks for joining us. We have a very interesting webinar planned for today. When Patrick and I were talking about topics, we were trying to come up with ones that, there was a common need to address. And so we went and talked to the DynaSCAPE help desk and asked them, what are your wish lists for top 3 topics that we would cover during a webinar? And they came up with 3 topics. And in fact, they gave us reproduction steps and how to achieve those. And so we're going to address those today. But first, want to make sure everybody is staying cool. Here just outside of Toronto, Ontario, we're having some record temperatures. We're in the low 90s today with a high degree of humidity. So just make sure everybody is staying cool. So a little bit of housekeeping. We are going to be recording this webinar. So it'll be available on the DynaSCAPE website under articles and videos following today's webinar, likely towards the end of the day. Gives us some time to process the recording and get it posted. We are going to be taking questions, but we'll leave those to the end. So if you have a question, there is a questions box. Please type your question in there, and we'll definitely address them at the end of the webinar. So as far as what we're going to be covering today, as some of you might have known, Microsoft released Windows 10 today, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then Patrick's going to show us how to change text size and layer weight, and how to use TrueView to convert Autocad files, and how to scale drawings after importing them in. So we've got a bit of a varied webinar, and one that I think you'll get a lot of insightful tips over. So Windows 10 released today. It's coming out for anyone that has Windows 8 or 8.1. It's coming out as a free update, and so you'll see a little Windows icon in the bottom left corner saying "Update to Windows 10." It's available for free, and today it is available for that download and update. For Windows 8 home users, it's going to do it automatically. You don't have a choice in the matter. So one thing that we are telling everyone that is using DynaSCAPE Design and Color is that there are some known issues around the installation of DynaSCAPE Design and around the printing of PDFs and actually printing out of your presentation out of color. And so we are working on those. We've been working on them for some time. But as you know, Microsoft puts out lots and lots of updates. And every time they do, it sort of changes the scope of the work that we have to do. So we are working on that. We hope to have compatible versions out in the next few weeks, and we are on track for that. We just learned about another issue yesterday morning, so we've rectified that. We just need to get that into our quality assurance folks and get that all tested out and make sure it's working appropriately. So we know it's going to require some patience on your end. Windows 10, I've used it quite a bit over the last month or so. It looks good. It solves the tiling issue that everyone hated in Windows 8. And it seems to be pretty stable. So we'll definitely have to see how it is post-release today. And so if you have any questions, by all means, give us a call or send us an email, and we'll definitely be able to walk you through. But our recommendation is to hold tight for now and wait until we've issued the compatible versions to do your update to Windows 10. And I think this is the point where we're going to get into doing some demonstration on those items. So Patrick's going to walk us through changing the text and layer weights using TrueView to convert Autocad files, and then scaling drawings after importing them in. So I'm going to give control over to Patrick, and then he can then take us through all of those great tips. There you go. It's all over to you, Patrick.
Okay, great. You can see my screen? Okay, perfect. Hey, everybody. It's been a little while since we did a webinar, so we wanted to come back and do something else. So Joe did a good job explaining why we're doing what we're doing with this webinar, and I think it'll help quite a few people, too, that deal with AutoCAD drawings. So first, let's just go over text size. And I think I did that in one of the earlier webinars, but I didn't get into what are called global settings. And what global settings are is your ability to change, you can open a drawing, change the global settings, and then everything you label in that drawing will be that text size, as opposed to manually going and changing it. So, but real quick, I'll take you back and just refresh you on, let's just call it like temporary text changes or on-the-fly text changes maybe. So let's put in just a regular text without leaders and say text size changing. Text size change. Okay, so let's float that here. And then we're going to do a leader line text, and we're going to go leader line text changing. All right, so I'm going to float this over here. And I'm also going to take each one of these, I'll highlight both of them, get rid of this, and I'm going to copy these down to show you how to kind of mass produce temporary ones in case someday you forget how to do global settings. But if you do, you just go to webinar, whatever we're on, this current webinar. Okay, so you've done your drawing, you're labeling everything. Maybe your customer complains that the text is too small. So you say, no problem, send a drawing with a little bit larger text. So we're going to go into the advanced toolbar, and it's right up here. It says ADV. And when you hover over two of these icons, this one says revise text with leader attributes. So that's great. Very easy to understand. That changes everything with a leader line. This one here is revise text attributes. That's things with no leader line. Now, neither one of these, this won't work if you do one of these. If you just draw a miscellaneous line, and then you go in after the fact and put in Winter Gem Boxwood. I came across this with one person training them where this is how they were labeling, and I was showing them how to resize the text, and it didn't work because these two were different entities. So that is a very, very bad practice to do, and if you're doing that, please use the correct labeling tools. Let's change the text of the text with no leaders. So we're going to hover over this, and we're going to click on it. Now, in each drawing, in each scale drawing, if you go into drawing page, this scaled drawing has its own specific size that has been set up kind of under the hood as a default size. So this is what it is for this size. So in here, we're going to change this to, let's change it to 4. Change the height and the width to 4. Click Apply. So you can see the box is still there, which means it's waiting for you to do something. And up here at the top, it's telling you to do something. Select the text to revise. So as soon as I left click and right click, it changes it. I can left click and right click that one. Or I can click, 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 and right click, and they'll do it all the same. Or I can do even a faster way, highlight it, type in 4 and 4, and just grab all of them in one fell swoop and change them. So now watch what happens when I do it to these. They don't even highlight. So it's kind of dummy proof. It won't even let you do the wrong thing, which means we need to find a different tool to do it. So let's go to this one, which is revise text with leader attributes. Now, vice versa, if I try to select these, it won't do it because it's not the right tool. As soon as I select that, it works. So let's select a tool, and let's make those 4. 4 and 4. And if I left-click, right-click, it does the exact same thing that the tool did for the text without leader lines. So again, swoop all these, select each one of these. Actually, on these, you have to select the line, and then right-click. So this is great if you have a bunch of labeling on a drawing with all your plants, and you have all of these labels really well organized. I want to show you something again, because you will run into this. If I try to select them like this, well, it works there. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But let's copy some more of these down, and we're just going to pretend these are all your very well organized plants. And if you want to make them larger, let's just go to this, and let's make them smaller again. Let's go to 2 feet, 2 feet. Select all of these leaders and right-click. That's pretty slick because, you know, labeling, there's a real art to labeling, and there's also a real challenge to labeling where you have to you have to think ahead. You really have to plan your labeling tactics, kind of, or approach, because you want to make sure you allow yourself enough room for things. So this is a way for you to enable, to provide a little bit more room when you need to, but also keeping in mind, don't make your text too small. I wouldn't make it any smaller than the system provides because, you know, they've done their due diligence to figure out what is a good starting size. I like mine a little bit bigger, so I change it. Now, that is not global. That is just per drawing, kind of on the fly text. Global settings are so I can tell the system on this drawing, I want all my text to be a certain size, and I think I want to do it maybe with a different font too. So if we go up to Entity, first let's change global settings for just text. So let's change it. See here, 2'6", 2'6". That's the default size of text in 1" equals in a 20 scale drawing. I want to change this to 5 feet. And I'm going to change that to 5 feet, and I clicked enter way too fast. So let me go back. Let's go into text. So it saved it, but I also want to change it up, and I think I want to do it in like city blueprint, and that's what I want to do. So let's click OK. Now watch what happens. I type in global floating text. I click apply, and see, this is that font I picked, and it's the size font I picked. So everything I label in my drawing in that text is that. But look, I changed global settings for text, but I didn't do it for leaders yet. So watch what happens. Global floating text. See, it's a completely different size. I didn't change it yet. So if I only had one label, this is a great example of where you could just go here, select this, type in 5 and 5, left and click and right click. But look, the font's different. So I can change this. Oh, no, that was. Oh, yeah, it was. No. There you go. Okay, there we go. I can change the font of it too. I can even change the slant. I can change the spacing, all kinds of things. But keep it simple and don't overcomplicate things. So that is global text without leaders. So if we want to change global leader text, we go to dimension. So the two things you want in here are text and dimension in the entity selection up top. So you'll see where it says text. Perfect. And let's change, see this, 2'6" and 2'6"? That's exactly what the other text was. So they're consistent. That's good. However, we want to change this to 5. I want to change this to 5. And we also want to change that to city blueprint. Perfect. Okay. Click OK. So now when we label something, global loading, I can't spell right now, text 2. Click apply. And it's great when things work the way they're supposed to, and it did. So that's a good thing. So that is global text and kind of on-the-fly text. Now, one important thing to remember is this. So we all know right now that this is 5 feet and 5 feet. If I close this drawing down and I open up a new drawing, look, let's go into dimension text. See, it's back. It is, so I picked a different scale. So I better pick it the same scale. Drawing page, let's change. Let's do this. Let me just close this down. Pick a 1" = 20 drawing right there. Okay, look what happened. When I go into entity and I go to text, see it's 2'6". Global text is only per drawing. There are ways to make a prototype where you can change that global text in the prototype and then it will be kind of system-wide. That's a little, I wouldn't call it advanced, but we're not really going to go over that now. So just know that if you're working on the Smith residence drawing and you have the global settings changed, you close it and you open up a new drawing, they're not going to be the same. So global settings are something that you need to do right off the bat in a drawing. Otherwise, you will go back and change it, which is a pretty easy process. So it's not like if you don't do it in the beginning, it's a big problem. It's not. It's easy. And it's nice that there is that flexibility, too. So that is the sizing. Layer weights. This is going to be the quickest topic I've ever done because I'm not a real big believer in messing around with the layers because that is really one of DynaSCAPE Design's claim to fame is the layer weight. Other programs have tried to replicate it and they have a hard time doing it. So that is why we have such beautiful drawings that are so clean and crisp. The lines are great. And so don't go and goof around with those if you don't have to. I do a lot of AutoCAD. A lot of people that were AutoCAD users that come to over to DynaSCAPE to simplify things. They like to do a lot of line weight stuff because that's just kind of how CAD works. There's a lot of that. But don't change it really if you have to. But if your building line is a little too heavy for you, that's fine. Let's go to building and change this. Well, first let me draw a building line so you just see how easy it works. So here's a building line. Okay, there's that line weight. Now, if I want to change that, I double click on these little pieces of paper. They're layers they're layers. So let's change this to 4 and click OK. Now it changed all the system-wide layer width. So if I really don't like that and I want to change it back, that's fine. I just go back here and I change it back to 8 and we're good. If you really want to, you can change colors, you can change the width, but again, don't go changing too much of it because it comes out of the box the way it should be. So that's that. So AutoCAD import problems. We've all tried to open, well, I don't want to say all, but a lot of us have opened, work on a drawing that was sent to us in AutoCAD, and here's what happens. We go to import, we go to either bring it into the current drawing or add the new drawing. Okay, there's the AutoCAD file. We click open, and it crashes. So the first thing we may think of is, what is wrong with this software program? It can't bring in AutoCAD. Well, there really isn't. The problem is that it's kind of like a communication error between DynaSCAPE software and AutoCAD, and it's a kind of an external thing. So what needs to happen is there needs to be a little bit of repair and fixing work done with that file, the AutoCAD file. So you can do one of two things. You can send the drawing, or have the person who did the drawing do a few things. They need to clean up the file. So we're going to show you kind of how to do that on our side in case we can't get a hold of them. So there could be problems like the AutoCAD version they're using is too old. It could be too new. And with the newness, the DynaSCAPE works with up to AutoCAD 2013, and one of the things I've heard them talking about is they're starting to make it where it will work with 15 and 6, up to 2016. So that's something they're already getting taken care of. So if somebody sends you a CAD file that saved as 2015 or 16, there's a good chance you'll have some issues. So you could have them save it as a 2013 or lower, or you could do some things on your own end. I would prefer just doing it on my end, so I know I can do it quickly and I'm not waiting for somebody. So if you go to Autodesk's website, this right here, DWG TrueView, that's what you want. Make sure you know if you're using a 32 or 64-bit operating system, and you download that. So really all this program is, it's a viewer. It's not AutoCAD. I don't think it's a really big, robust program. It's really just a viewer. It's just a viewer program. So we want to open this program, and up at the top there's a little cursor or a little triangle. We're going to click on Dwg Convert. It's going to open the software, and it's going to give us this little box here. So what we want to do is we want to add a folder or add the file. See, when you hover over it, add file. We want to add the file that we want to manipulate to try to make this thing work. That's the file that we need to make work. So we open it. Now, what support has told me is they have the best luck with this convert to 2007 option right here. So I am going to take their word for it because that's what they do every day. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to convert to 2007. Then we click on this right here that says Conversion Setup. Conversion to 2007, Modify. So in here, we want to make sure a few things are check marked. Create backup, check and fix errors, purge drawings. I'm not an AutoCAD guy, so again, I'll take their word for it because this works. So we've selected those. We click OK. We click Close here, and then we click, we highlight what we want to convert, and we click Convert. And it's done. So now I can close this. Do you want to save the current list of files? I'm going to select No. All right, so let's just minimize this and open back up DynaSCAPE. Now let's try it again. We're going to import AutoCAD drawing, or AutoCAD as a new drawing. We're going to select the file. So this file now has been cleaned up. We're going to open it. And it's wonderful when things work exactly the way they're supposed to. So it worked. However, it looks like there's a little issue here where we get these big white triangles. Those are a result of what are called either external references or proxies. I'm not real sure exactly what those things are. I know external references could be images, and anyway, that's kind of, it's not important. If you're having these problems, that's where you'll probably need to send it back to them and say, can you remove external references and proxies and make sure all the geometry is regular.
Yeah, and one of the reasons for that is that DynaSCAPE design does not support external references, or people that use AutoCAD would refer to as XREF. It just doesn't support that. So when it shows up in DynaSCAPE design, it just implodes.
So we have our drawing open, and hopefully we can get it to where this doesn't happen, because that's pretty annoying. But I don't think this thing is to scale. So when somebody does a AutoCAD drawing, there are some settings they need to do in there for dimensioning or scaling or something. And if they don't do that, you're going to have this, where we measure a parking spot, and that's like not even a foot. So this is not to scale. So what we need to do is find out, you will have to contact, unless there's a graphic scale on this drawing, which we all in training were taught, put a graphic scale on a drawing. And this is the problem people get in when whoever did this drawing did not do a graphic scale, because I don't know what any of these dimensions are. And this is a good thing, this is a good reminder for everybody. Put graphic scales on your drawings, and when somebody sends you one, tell them, will you please put a graphic scale on, because you might get a survey as a PDF or a JPEG, but you can't read the dimensions. But that doesn't matter as much if you do have a good graphic scale and you can scale it. So unfortunately, whoever did this drawing did not give us a graphic scale. So if there are no labels on here that say length, we're kind of dead in the water until we can contact whoever this is and find out. So let's just make an easy example. Let's just say we measured this and it was 1 foot, and it's supposed to be 10 feet. So it's pretty simple. Now, I don't know how well this is going to work because it's got some of this issue on here. So let's just make this even easier on something that I know will work, because it's the concept that matters. So if we have a line like that, and our line said 1 foot, or measured 1 foot, but it's really 10, there's a tool here where it's this one, resize object by scale ratio. So if this was 1 foot and it needs to be 10, that needs to be 10 times the size. So when I click 10, enter, and left click it, actually let me do that where it actually is right. So let's do this. Let's make a line that is 5 feet long. This is an awesome tool, by the way, that I don't know if we've even gone over this in the webinar, but this is really a great tool. All right, so this line is 5 feet long. In the CAD, if I want to convert the whole drawing and I want to make it 25 feet, that's 5 times the length. So I'm going to scale that 5 times. I'm going to left click this and right click it, and now look what I have. Now that line is 25 feet. So that's the same concept as what you're going to do in this drawing here, okay? The last thing I'm going to say is this. I had lunch with the support team today, and they asked me, how many drawings do you normally have open at one time? And my answer was as few as possible. Don't have tons of drawings open, because from what I hear, they get quite a bit of calls about losing drawings, oversaving drawings, and it's because people are flipping back and forth between too many drawings, and it gets very confusing when you do. So try to minimize how many drawings are open at one time, so you save yourself a lot of aches and pains with saving. And we have some really good, very, very basic topics to do in a webinar, the next one or two. And one of them is saving drawings and getting it all set up so you do not lose drawings. So that's everything that I need to cover. So Joe can field some questions, and if we have the answers to those, we'll answer them.
Yeah. So Margaret is asking, is this why when I import, then the lines don't look straight?
I don't know the answer to that. That is definitely, I don't even know if that would be support what they may have come across that.
Yeah.
I've never experienced that.
It might be an orientation problem within the AutoCAD file. I mean, there could be likely a myriad of different reasons. She followed up with a question. Quite often the DWG files, when converted, the lines are crooked very often.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I import that again, now I'm not, it depends on if she means with the jagged edges.
She followed up one more time and said, as if the constraints were not on when drawn.
Oh, well,
maybe it originated at the draw level.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you look at things like this, and they're definitely all scooped up. But this drawing, I see. Let me show you something, and I don't know if this could help what she's saying. But anytime you have a line, a line is perfect when there are no jagged edges. If it is not perfect, you have all kinds of jagged edges. So the way to fix that, if I have a square, even if you do a square that is 4 foot by 4 foot, this is a perfectly square object. But as soon as I rotate that with the rotate tool here, look, it's got the you can barely see them, but there are jagged edges. So if it's possible, what was her name? Margaret. If there's a way that you can take this drawing and rotate this and make them go away.
Yeah, and she had mentioned that even the parking spaces in this AutoCAD file don't look straight. They or constrained. They have jagged edges.
Yeah. So jagged edges. Let's do a quick experiment here. Let's take these parking spots. I hope we're helping you. So if I took this and I take this line and I rotate that, yeah, it's a little surgical. You got to be. I've almost fixed it. There's still a little jog, but that would drive me nuts. But on a drawing, you're really not going to pick up on it. So you can kind of make that go away, and now look what we have. Things are a heck of a lot better than what they were. And you need to be doing that anyway because you want to be working on a drawing that's square. So let's touch on something quick, because this is something else I've thought about showing that people I see happen a lot. You bring in a survey and it's square, but let's say they have a shed in the back or a garage that's off center, and the shed is like let's go to a figure library to structures, and let's put a shed back there. So everything in the drawing, I want to get out of this CAD drawing. So everything in the drawing is great, except you have this shed in the back that is all crooked, like this. So, and we want to draw a square around it, and look what happens if we do this. I think this is going to help a lot of people. Watch this. I'm going to get rid of the shed. Look at that. It's a mess. It's all goofed up. And you're guessing that you got it right, unless it has dimensions. So let's measure it. That's 10 foot. I hope I didn't make this too perfect. Darn it. Okay, perfect. I'm off. Okay. Instead of doing it this way and just drawing a polyline box around it, let's do it this way. Let's contort this thing a little bit. Let's say it's really off, and it's not on a 45. It's not on anything that makes any sense. What I like to do is take your measure tool. Let's measure this corner, 7'4", and measure, not corner, but wall, 7'4" and 16 foot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 16 foot, 7'4". So now I know I have an outline that all the corners are perfect 90-degree angles. All of the sides are exactly the way they're supposed to be. So now I take this, I turn my inference settings on, I move that corner, sit it on that corner, and then just take it and rotate. See how I can just move this? And I'm just going to take it and I'm going to rotate that right where it needs to be. Now, it's deceiving because you see it's still jagged. But if I were to take this tool here, which I really don't use a lot, which is why I can't even find it. Oh, here. Never mind. I never use that tool. But all of these are the same angles because we draw a rectangle. So that's a great way of making sure you have square objects, but then turning them crooked.
So thanks for that. Ryan has a question. He's wondering if you can review the proper leader text tool to be using.
Okay. All right. So these are great symbols because this has a little tail on it. It's got a little leader line. These are the two. So it's in advanced settings. So advanced settings isn't something you probably always have docked out here because you know, there are some tools in here that I don't even know how to use yet, and you know, I just don't. But so I don't really have it activated that often. But when I do, it's because I'm going to probably temporarily change these texts. So this is what I call floating text, or like a quick text, which would be up at the top. So let's say text with no leader here. And let's say text with leader. Okay, so we have these two pieces of labeling. Let's change this one here. So if we click this and we left click on it, it doesn't work. It's the wrong tool, right? So we click this one. And always get, especially if you know the tools, there's no need to hover over and read them. When you're learning this software, don't try to be too click happy and just start going like this and this. Read what the tools are because they tell you exactly what they do. Revise text with lead attributes. So when I click on that, you click, let's put in 3 foot, 3 foot. Let's change it to city blueprint. And let's slant it. Let's do a -5 slant. Watch this. This is slick. Let's left click and right click. See, I gave it a little flair. So I do something with my headings at the top of my drawings where I'll do this. Like I like to put their name in the building layer. So I will say Salemi Residence. I will go like this, city blueprint. I'll change it to like, let's go 8 and 8. And then T space and L space. I put like 1 foot and 1 foot. And watch what it does. It puts like a little spacing between it. If I really wanted to slant this pretty neat, I could do like a, I don't know, you can play around with these numbers. See that? It's pretty cool because it, you know, this software gives you a nice hand-rendered look, and when you do things like this, it gives you a little bit of a hand-rendered kind of style. That looks real slick, too. I think that's a little too crooked, like slanted, but you can get in and play around with those. So with text with no leader, you'll just click on this one. Type in, let's go 6 foot, 6 foot, left click, right click.
So that's the questions we have for this webinar. I just wanted to thank you, Patrick, for your time. I really appreciate you spending the time to do these webinars. It's hugely helpful, and I really believe that everyone that joined us is able to get a lot out of it. Again, we are recording these webinars, and we will have it posted later today. And just want to remind everybody that they are available through the DynaSCAPE website, so DynaSCAPE.com, under articles and videos. My name is Joe Salemi. I'm the product marketing manager. If anyone has any questions about the direction we're going in as far as where new features and fixes and enhancements, please give me a call or send me an email. It's 1-800-710-1900. It says the extension is 230, but my direct extension is 279. I don't know how that got there. Really strange. And my email is jsalemi@dynascape.com. So if you have any questions at all, please get a hold of me. And for those of you that might be looking for some additional training, we've actually contracted Patrick to do some intensive and advanced on-site training. So he will come to your place, spend 2 full days, and impart all of his knowledge to you and your team to get you up and going. And so you can visit our website and get more information that way as well. Again, thank you for your time, and we'll be running another one again in about a month's time. Thanks, everybody.